Potato salads are not normally my favorite kind of salad because they're usually doused in mayo. They're kind of really heavy and not all that interesting. This one, on the other hand, truly is. Partly because of the dressing, and you dress the potatoes while they're warm. And then we are going to use these gorgeous roasted Australian macadamias for a lovely crunchy topping. So let's start by making the dressing. I've got about 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil. I've minced up really finely, or you might want to use your garlic crusher, a garlic clove. I've got some of the brine, or you could use some vinegar or even just some lemon juice, but I'm going to add separately. This is the brine from my capers. And then I'm going to use both the zest and the juice from this lemon. So just pop the zest in there, and this gives it a lovely citrusy kind of flavour, which is going to cut through some of the umami and salty flavours from things like capers and olives, and my secret dressing ingredient coming up. So just add the juice as well. One of my favourite kitchen gadgets, this. I don't know why, it just really pleases me. I've got the green one too for my limes and the orange one for my oranges because, you know, it has to match. My lemon. And then here is the secret ingredient. Now, don't balk. If you're not an anchovy fan, I promise you, for some reason, when you make it up into a dressing, it no longer tastes anchovy-like, if you know what I mean. It just tastes really umami. It gives the saltiness, so I'm not adding additional salt here. And it all depends on the quality of the anchovies that you get. If you get good quality anchovies, they are absolutely delicious. Now, what I'm going to do is just really finely chop them, but you can also blitz this dressing in the food processor if you prefer, or just mash them with the back of a spoon so that they almost kind of dissolve into that dressing. So I'll just use my whisk this dressing together, and then let those flavours come together. Lovely. Now I've got my potatoes. The real trick here is that you want your potatoes to still be warm. So I have just boiled these, and make sure also that you're not overcooking them. So I want the potatoes to hold their shape. I don't want them to fall apart once they go into my salad. So I'm just going to quarter my potatoes. Now I've got the skins on my potatoes. I'm using the intact veggie here. That's where all the fibre, the nutrients and so on are. And then my quarters I'm just going to pop back into this bowl. And by adding the dressing while the potatoes are still warm, somehow it just helps the potatoes to absorb more of that lovely dressing. Pour that all over the top. Give it just a little bit of a stir, but taking care so that the potatoes aren't breaking up. Just so that they're coated in that gorgeous dressing and they start to absorb the flavours. And then just set that aside for a second, just to let those flavours start to mingle and absorb up into our dressing. Then I'm just going to add some finely sliced green onion or spring onion. I don't know, Sydney and Melbourne calls it different things. We want some parsley. Lovely. So bring your potatoes back, and I'm going to pop in my spring onion. I'm going to just save some for the top. Similarly, save a little bit of the parsley for the top, and some I'm going to fold through. I've got some olives here that I've just halved, so making sure that there's no pips in there. You can use black, green olives, whatever you like. And some capers. So remember, I put the brine from the capers into my dressing. Now I'm just going to add some of the capers. And if you like, you could also fry these off to make them a little bit crispy. And then give it a good stir. And if you like, you can also put a bed of leaves there. You could add some rocket or some spinach, or just have this as a side dish separate to any other salads you've got on the table. So then I'm just going to load this into the middle of my bowl. Oh, I can smell that lemony anchovy, capers. Beautiful, very Mediterranean kind of salad here. And I don't want it to be drowning in the dressing. That's why I'm sort of ladling this in like this. So I want to drizzle over a little of the dressing, but making sure I'm not drowning it in dressing. And then finally, I'm going to get my roasted macadamias. Just roughly chop them with a knife. Macadamias are lovely and soft, so they're very easy to slice. And they're quite a large nut, so we just want a nice rough chop. And then just scatter these over the top for some texture. Now that is a potato salad I can get quite excited about.